Hello guys, in this lesson we'll learn how to animate our sprite sheets. If we have subtle or different animations, we'll learn how to bring them in. In our last tutorial we learned how to import the sprite sheets. This time around let's go ahead and animate this. So what I've done is to prepare or create an animations folder. Just right click, go to create new folder, and we have this animations folder. And now we have our sprite sheet which we have chopped. So now this sprite sheet contains 4 frames. 1, 2, 3. Okay, it has 5 frames, and the 5th frame is the flashing animation. So let's learn how to do that properly. So I'll go over here and I'll delete this one because I don't want to have this in the scene yet. So one quick way to bring in a set of animations is to select the frames you want. So first I'm going to select these 4 frames from our sprite sheet and I'll drag them into the game view. Automatically, Unity is going to ask me to create an animation because it understands I have more than one image. So I'll go to the animations folder and I'll call this the idle animation. So that's our idle animation there. Now, if I drag just a single frame, sometimes it might ask you, sometimes it might not. So we'll see how we can set that up. So the next thing we're going to do is go to Window and then Animation. So bring in your animation window. I have it toggled, I have it docked right here. And in our animation, we can see this animation we have here. So if we hit play, we can actually see our ship playing those animation frames. So let's say, for example, we have this animation, but we need another animation set for the flashing animation. So click this drop down arrow and say create new clip. And let's call this flash because the player is going to flash when he's hit. And now what we'll do is to click on the sprite sheet, the last one, and then drag that into here and just place it right here. So this is our flash animation right here. And this is our idle animation. And we can play this separately. Now, if you wanted to transition from the idle to the flash animation or any other animations you have, here's how you can do it. So go to the Animator, and the Animator, again, it's on Windows, Animation, Animator, and you can dock any window in Unity by just clicking and dragging it over here. So I have the game, animation, and Animator. Let me just go ahead and close the Animator tab and let me do it again. So I'll go to Window, Animation, Animator. If I click on that, I'll click this and cut it out and drag this to the bottom so it's docked here with our animation tab. Right, so now that we have that, let's go to our animation. So we have our idle animation. So let's go to the Animator. Now what Unity will actually do, if we look at our animation property, is that it has created an animator controller and we have these 2 animation states. So if I click the player sheet, this is the animator controller that we're using here. And then this are the 2 animation states. So again, we can switch from idle to flashing. So maybe that's your walk to jump. Basically, all your animations are going to be here. So to go into a transition, so here, for example, if I wanted to go from idle to the flash animation, so all I need to do is right click on idle, make a transition to flash, right click on flash, make a transition back to idle. So now if we actually go to our animation and play this, if you go to our scene, so let's go over here and go to the animator and see which states we're transitioning to. If I click on this one, we can set properties to change how it's moving from one state to the other. All right, so that's how you can set up a basic animation in Unity. If you have multiple animations, you can set up each of those animation clips separately and you have your character actually animating. All right, so we can see what's happening here is that it's actually flashing, right? It's flashing because we've set that animation state to be automatic. So if I go over here back to the animator and we get rid of this state, our player is not going to have that property where it's changing the animation because we're not setting any transition. Ideally, we want to change the transition. If our player gets hit by an enemy, then we can change that transition. All right, guys. So thank you very much for watching. I'll see you in the next tutorial.